order. Begin with the pledge of allegiance. Councilman Buchanan.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. For Treasurer Porte.
Councilman Buchanan.
Here.
Councilwoman Konechny.
Present.
Councilwoman West. Councilman Frankie.
Here.
Councilwoman Huffman.
Here.
Councilwoman Ficus is absent. And Councilman Galloway.
Here.
6 present, 1 absent.
Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Thank you to Mr. Buchanan for helping with that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Petitions and comments of citizens. We have one. Sierra Sue Jesh, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. And a reminder of 3 minutes and no personal attacks.
Thank you. My name is Sierra Sue Jesh, and I live on Jefferson Avenue. And I have been attending the city council meetings for 20 years. I saw a mayor eliminate the police power shift so they could hire 4 pencil pushers for the city hall. I saw another mayor eliminate her SWAT team for political reasons. They said they couldn't afford to purchase the new SWAT equipment. I know for a fact that if they had asked, the city would have gotten the gear for free. Years ago, the city decided they didn't want any of the contaminated money from the boat, money from the gambling. So that's why we don't get much of it. Recently, a tax was passed so the city could bring the number and equipment of our first responders up to meet our city needs. It was meant to add to the money from the general fund to meet these goals, not to take money from the general fund for other uses. Instead, the city took the money from the general fund and added more pencil pushers, instead of increasing the number of police officers. The city needs to increase our police protection. What would happen if the government came in and said we were required to add more officers to cover the increase in our population and area? I don't even know who said that we were supposed to have 44. Maybe that's just an arbitrary number somebody pulled out of the hat. We have annexed area north of LaPorte, and city plans to annex more area in the next few years. And that don't include what we've annexed in the last 20. With the expansion of the industry in St. Joseph and LaPorte counties will increase in people in the city. We need more police, we need more first responders. I think the city needs to hire their own doge and eliminate waste in the city government. Why can the city afford more pencil pushers in City Hall, but can't afford more police officers and first responders? Thank you.
And again, I don't like responding, but the misinformation, it's absolutely not true. Every penny of the lit has gone to police and fire. When is the last time we've had 44 officers? When is the last time that we have now, and we're continuing to work on more? So again, I just want to remind the council and the public, this misinformation that seems to be putting out there is not accurate. And we live, for the first time, thanks to our clerk treasurer, live within the budget. We lose 30% of our revenue right off the bat and continue to provide all the services, have not cut one service, even though we have reductions from the state and from property taxes. The state is continuing right now to look at reducing property taxes further, and we're debating and working with them downstate. And as I've said, just quit playing around, and let's just cut all of them, because that's what you want to do, but give us the control here. So we're living within our means, so we are doing our own doge, but then want us to find money to hire more police officers when we've reached our 44, and we're still trying to find ways to hire more. So again, I'm not sure that that makes much sense, and it's inaccurate information. Leslie Calvert. please come forward to the microphone.
Can I see that?
You're gonna have to hold her.
Hello.
If you could state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Leslie Calvert. I live at 1104 West 10th Street in LaPorte. 4 years ago, when the sidewalks were coming in, the sidewalk got built in front of my house. Oh, happy day. Look, a nice big wide sidewalk. They didn't lay it flat to the road like all the other sidewalks. Nick Minnick and his men,
We're not going to personally attack
I'm not attacking them.
names.
Nick Minnick and his men built this sidewalk. They brought in dirt and they turned it into a dam. That dam holds back the water from Glen Place, from the lots that are by me, and my water cannot no longer run across the street to the basin drainage. And my basement, houses on both sides have no basement. I have a basement, and it's filling up with water. And it's been filling up for 4 years, and I've been complaining for 4 years. And I've been stating and asking for an engineer to come to my home and look at the dam in front of my property. And no engineer shows up. I get Warner to show up with his business card and state to me, I'm sorry, I cannot answer any engineering questions. I am not an engineer. I see you have no drain spouts. Your basement's filling up with water because you have no drain spouts. That's an out-and-out right lie. I got drain spouts on my house, and they've been there since the house was built. Your people make up stories and lies to cover, because the city doesn't have any money or expenses to take apart what you built.
Thank you.
My basement's flooding. You're ruining a perfectly good house in the town of LaPorte.
Thank you, Leslie. Standing committee reports. Council President Frankie.
Redevelopment Commission met last Wednesday on the 29th. The officers were picked for the year, and they're staying the same. Brian Chalik is the president, Damon Gasaway is vice president, and JT McDermott is the secretary. Baker Tilly gave their annual TIF report, and everything looks great there. Bert Cook updated on the Chipotle development concerning the kayak launch and public parking spaces. The redevelopment commission contributes, or is contributing to those spaces. So some money that was owed for reimbursement was approved. And a contract for on-call services with Carner Blue Consulting was approved for additional grant work relating to the Boyd Boulevard Grant Project and Ready Grant Project. The approval for that work's not to exceed $5,000. And a member of the Newport Landing Design Review Committee and the Downtown Design Review Committee was appointed for the year. That member is Betsy Parkinson, who has served on those committees in the past. That's all I have.
Councilwoman Huffman.
The Sustainability Commission met on Tuesday, January 28, 2025, in council chambers. The 2025 commission meeting schedule was approved for every fourth Tuesday of the month unless there is a conflicting holiday. An event for Arbor Day, which is April 25th, is in the early planning stages by the Sustainability Commission. The next Sustainability Commission meeting will be held in City Council chambers on Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. End of report.
Councilman Galloway.
Mike.
Thank you. Police Merit Commission met on January the 14th. Ben Anderson showed up. He'll be a new member. He wanted to see what it was all about. They're working on a a new contract for the Police Merit Commission attorney. And two are being sent to the academy. They're going to Hobart. And Tody's retired. And 6 applicants are supposed to be all green. And Terry Sherry will be done in March. That's it.
And just as a reminder, I want to thank Nate Tody after 20 years of service. We certainly appreciate his work with the city and wish him well in the future. Councilwoman West.
Nothing to report tonight.
Councilman Buchanan.
The Historic Preservation Commission met on January 22nd. New slate of officers were selected: Sally LaRocco, President; Bruce Johnson, Vice President, and the 2025 meeting schedule was approved.
Councilwoman Konechny.
On behalf of Councilwoman Ficus, the Park Board met on January 15th. Election of officers took place. Mitch Ficus was elected president, Nicole Messakar as vice president, and Roberta Muma as secretary. During public comment, a new resident to LaPorte, Rich Pagels, addressed the board and commended the park department for their efforts in providing exceptional parks and amenities. Our beautiful parks, trails, and beaches were some of the deciding factors in his move to LaPorte. Gregory Peach was approved unanimously by the board and welcomed on as the new Civic and Events Director, replacing Brett Beneversi, who held the position for 10 years. Ryan Seberg was welcomed as a new member to the board. He is representing the LaPorte Community School Board. Library Board will meet later this month, and the representative should be in attendance at the next Park Board meeting. The board approved to waive civic rental fees only for both the LaPorte Community School Corporation's end-of-year honors banquet and formal, the LaPorte County Regional Spelling Bee as well. Additional news, the Airport Authority will meet next Wednesday, February 12th at 5:15 at the airport.
Thank you. Councilwoman West, American Heart Month proclamation.
Whereas more than 350,000 people experience cardiac arrest outside of a hospital each year, and only about 1 in 10 survive, and more than 23,000 children under the age of 18 experience cardiac arrest outside of a hospital each year in the United States, and almost 40% of those are sports-related. And whereas there are effective solutions to this problem, awareness and education to have cardiac emergency response plans in place, CPR education and automated external defibrillators, training and accessibility. And whereas about 70% of cardiac arrests that occur outside of a hospital happen at home, and whereas CPR, especially if performed immediately, can double or triple a person's chance of survival, and only about 46% of people who experience cardiac arrest receive CPR from people nearby while waiting for emergency responders to arrive. And whereas knowing how to properly perform CPR has encouraged more people to act when faced with a cardiac emergency and to save more lives from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital. We must increase the number of people who respond to cardiac arrest by calling 911, delivering high-quality CPR, and using an AED as it is available. And whereas schools with AEDs and cardiac emergency response plans can increase child cardiac arrest survival to 70%, and whereas CPR is a life-saving skill that most people, including children as young as age 9, can learn.
Take your time, Councilwoman. Drew, could you help maybe?
I think I could do it. Thank you, though. Whereas the American Heart Association has set a goal of doubling the survival from cardiac arrest by 2030 by turning bystanders into lifesavers, so that everyone, everywhere is prepared and empowered to become a vital link in the chain of survival and provide CPR in response to a cardiac emergency. And whereas currently 90% of people who experience cardiac arrest outside of a hospital die, in part because they do not receive CPR more than half of the time, and CPR, especially if performed immediately, can double or triple a person's chance of survival. And whereas in celebration of American Heart Month and the American Heart Association's 100th birthday, we urge every household to join the nation of lifesavers and learn CPR. Now, therefore, I, Councilwoman Julie West, founder of the Play for Jake Foundation, and most importantly, Jake's mom, in recognition of the importance of the ongoing fight against heart disease and stroke, and the effort to double the survival rate from cardiac arrest, do hereby proclaim February 2025 to be American Heart Month in LaPorte and urge all residents to show their support for the fight against heart disease by commemorating this month by increasing awareness, speaking out about heart disease, learning CPR, and adopting cardiac emergency response plans. Together, we can save lives, thousands of lives each year. In witness whereof, I hereto set my hand and the great seal of the City of LaPorte, State of Indiana, this third day of February 2025. I do have a little bit more to
Please,
finish.
take your time.
I just think it's really important to share a few things that maybe some of the community is not aware of, the years of committed work that have accumulated in a milestone achievement of LaPorte being the first city in Indiana to achieve Heart-Safe Community designation. Earning this designation makes LaPorte an official part of the Heart-Safe Community Initiative, a national preparedness program dedicated to improving outcomes of sudden cardiac arrest led by the Citizen CPR Foundation. The LaPorte Heart-Safe Community team decided to pursue this designation as a strategy to continue to help the City of LaPorte community continue to improve the survival rates of cardiac arrest victims. The Heart-Safe Community program is set on the principle that lives can be saved by being prepared with prevention, early access to care, early CPR, early defibrillation, and early advanced care. A number of partners united to help LaPorte meet those criteria, including lead organization, our City of LaPorte Fire Department, LaPorte County Emergency 911, LaPorte County EMS, LaPorte County Fire Chief Association, Northwest Health LaPorte, Play for Jake Foundation, and the former Health Foundation LaPorte. Fort of LaPorte board member Jane Nelson. This task force was put together by the Health Foundation of LaPorte, and I think we all are so grateful for that, our foundation. They are the ones who started this entire initiative to make our city a heart-safe community. So as we're moving forward, the Health Foundation and their partners are now working to help our county receive their designation as a heart-safe community as well. So there's so many people to thank for their commitment to make this happen, and another reason to be LaPorte proud. I will be traveling to Indianapolis tomorrow to take part in a video with the American Heart Association to help further the mission of being prepared for sudden cardiac arrest. And Wednesday morning, with a team of others that I put together, we'll start the process of testifying to strengthen Jake's Law by making sure our schools have a cardiac emergency response plan in place and practice just like all other emergency drills we perform in our schools. And then something that's really excited to share as well is we're going to be screening our kids at LaPorte High School during the school hours on March 20th and 21st. And information will be going out to all the parents, and registration will soon open. So please, if you have a child in our LaPorte High School, please make sure you register them for a heart screening. Thank you.
And could we also recognize Eric DeWald from the Health Foundation of LaPorte? You know, when we talk about good things, it always seems to include the Health Foundation of LaPorte. And Eric, thank you very much for all you've done to partner with Julie and Play for Jake. Thank you. So one of the great things about being mayor is watching our community, which I think is pretty special, come together to help those in need and to give compassion and a little bit of extra love, just maybe to those individuals, those family members that need it during tough times. And over the last 60 days, we've had, really want to point out 2 individuals and their organizations for putting the Nest Warming Center together. And I'd like to start, we've got many people to recognize and thank, but I'd like to start with Harry from the Nest in Michigan City and Lisa from Center Township to come forward and just to acknowledge both of them first for the great work they've done to make a difference in people's lives. So please come forward. And if you don't mind, both of you, kind of share your stories about making a difference, and because the City of LaPorte is certainly thankful for the both of you.
Sure, he's going to make me go first. I'm Lisa Pierzakowski, Center Township trustee, and Harry and I have worked together for, I don't know how many years now. I used to volunteer at his shelter in Michigan City, and then we had the LaPorte pads in LaPorte for a couple years, and Harry was very instrumental in that. And now here we are back again. Thank you to the city of LaPorte for loaning us the depot for till the end of March. And I just wanted to give a little bit of information. We've had a couple young men. One we were able to send back to Kentucky to be with his family. One we were able to send to Florida to be with his brother. We have one that went to Tennessee to be with her parents after 10 years away and suffering from mental health and drug addiction. She is getting the help that she needs. I have a young man with me tonight. His name's CJ. He's a little bashful.
CJ, do you mind standing up?
Up, bud? There he is. So CJ's with me because we're on our way to Walmart after this. We just moved CJ and his mom into an apartment today. And we've been cleaning it and getting it organized and getting things purchased for him. CJ and his mom had been living in their van for about 15 months. They've been homeless living in their van for about 15 months, along with a cat and a bearded dragon. So Harry was kind enough to let them come into the shelter. We made, Harry made a space for them with their pets when it was super, super cold. And now they're into their apartment. We have another one, we're working with the church, again, mental health. We have another young man that next week will be going back to Alabama to be with his family. We have another one we're hoping by the end of the week will be into an apartment. And then we have a young man that went back to Michigan City because it wasn't cool in LaPorte. So, but we have a couple new ones and a couple challenges, but we're working on them. And I know the one young man that's only been there a couple nights, I met with him today doing case management, and he's eager to get working and eager to get some things done. And he was very appreciative to have a place where he can sleep at night and take a hot shower. And he said we've been serving really good food, so we got to watch that, Harry. So, Harry?
Harry, please come forward, and thank you for what you have done as well as Lisa.
Listen, thanks for inviting us to LaPorte, truthfully. Nest Community Shelter has been operating in Michigan City for 24 years. We started off as Interfaith Community Pads. We traveled from church to church on a nightly basis, and we did that for 17 years. In that time, we never became a 501c3. Nothing of that. Since then, we've incorporated ourselves. We've changed our name. We've gotten our own permanent site. We were the only homeless shelter in the state of Indiana. We traveled from site to site. But we did it, we accomplished it, we got through it, and now we focus not just on bringing people off the streets. What Lisa said is something that happens every day in Michigan City. We have a 40% success rate of people walking in our doors, getting into housing. And with what Lisa's done here, it's just been phenomenal. Truthfully, 18 guests we've checked in the first 13 days that we've been there. 18 guests, we've gotten 5 of them housed. That's 28% right there, and that's just the start. We've served 198 meals. We've had 99 bed nights. A bed night equates to 1 bed, 1 person, one night. Hold on, I have some.
Those lunches too.
I have some amazing numbers here.
Love it.
Keeping our payroll low, the city of LaPorte, the citizens have volunteered 203 volunteer hours in those 13 days. Again, we.
And how many volunteer forms did you receive from people in LaPorte?
Janelle? 72. 72 so far. We've got another one today. They keep coming in. We need more. We definitely need more. There's plenty of meat on the bone for citizens to help us out and for us to continue doing the work that we're doing. But it's not us. It's not us. It's the community coming together. We couldn't do it without Lisa. We couldn't do it without the city helping us. It's just everybody came together, and it was a true blessing. It really, really was. And that's what it takes, though. It's not a one-stop shop. It's not. Let's connect the services because they're all here. We've got Geminis in the house tonight, and they're amazing, just amazing. So I just can't say enough about our community.
Well, I'll tell you what, and I want you to stay here, so don't leave, because truly, you're special, both of you. We, the public, the community all knows that, but this doesn't happen and get going so fast without some partners. And there's a couple that couldn't be here this evening. First of all, Katie Eaton from NIPSCO. You know, we can't turn on the heat and gas and everything, and NIPSCO was out on a Friday night and an early Saturday morning to make sure they knew the weather, they knew what was coming in that ice cold of that Sunday, and in early January or mid-January, and what a wonderful thing they did. Our city water department, if you don't realize it, we have so many plumbers that work in our water department, and they gave up of their Friday, their Saturday, even Sunday, to make sure the water was flowing appropriately. One gave up a fishing trip, and it was just amazing. So those were individuals that couldn't be here. Also, I'd like to recognize, we've got a great partner on the west side of LaPorte in the name of Geminis. And I'm going to have Nick Neal, Kristen, and Amanda come forward, because we're all going to get a picture at the end here, so you stay put. I called Nick, on a Tuesday, and I think Nick said, hey, meet us at Walmart on a Thursday, and I felt it was like Christmas. Their team came out, just out of Walmart with a whole bucket list of things that is needed for a warming shelter. Nick and the team, thank you. We just want to allow you a few words, because you're making a difference, all of you, in people's life, and this is special. So Nick, please come forward. Amanda?
Yeah, I get to speak for all of us.
And state your name and introduce your team.
I'm Amanda Satterfield. I actually run the LaPorte County Family Resource Center. And then I got Nicholas Neal behind me. That's our Vice President of Community Services. And Kristen Chamberlain, our Director of Family Services. So we run a lot of wonderful programs out of Geminis, but the ones that affect LaPorte are the Family Resource Center and then our Community Partners program. So we're all about child prevention and keeping our kiddos safe here, but it's also about the whole community collaborating, bringing people together. I know, Harry, you said there's no such thing as one-stop shop. I beg to differ. You come into my center, it's a one-stop shop. However, I couldn't do that with everybody in this community, the providers and all the partnerships. So we thank you guys for thinking of us and involving us in this project.
Well, we're fortunate to have you, and you make a difference every day, so thank you. And I'm going to just go through the list here, because this one is very special. We have private businesses in our community that, are here to make money while they provide a quality service. We walked in, and we like and appreciate our partnership with Norfolk Southern, who had the depot buildings for many years that eventually we were able to get back in LaPorte. Well, we didn't know, Annette Leffler and I didn't know what we were walking into, but we were walking into a major problem. And before I knew it, Annette had contacted Dye Plumbing, and I will tell you, Harry was there, Lisa was there, and I watched Dye Plumbing work in the cold, but at least 4 days? 3 full days. And I'm telling you, they had other jobs to do, other things to do in our community, and they literally refused to leave until the work was done. And I've never seen something so special. And I'd like to call up the owners, Rob Metz and Dan Combs. Please come forward, because we certainly appreciate the love that both of you and Nate Metz, Cam Prankus, and I'm sorry, Jason's last name?
Riley.
Jason Riley, day and night. How special it was, and thank you to both. So come on up, both of you. And thoughts, please.
We were just lucky enough to get the call. It's what our company does all day, every day, fix the water leaks, the gas leaks. We find them, we fix them. Once we got the call and figured out, from the mayor and Annette, what it was for and how important it was to get it done so quickly. We had some really cold weather heading our way. It just puts everything into perspective for you and why you're here. So we just decided to get involved and donate our time to the city and get it finished.
Rob?
Not much to add there, other than I wasn't real sure we were going to get it done in time. But Actually, Dan got up there in the last day in the attic and got it done, so.
And the best part, at no cost.
Yeah, just glad you guys had the confidence to.
Well, to tell everybody in the public, you just gave your donation for the year, so everybody's not calling you looking for more. Thank you to your entire team. Stay here. So it also takes funding. And Harry, I'm going to turn this back over to you. We've got some individuals here that we also want to recognize that all the work is great, but without the checks of support, it still doesn't happen. And I think you're aware of everyone here. First, Chris Pate. Chris Pate, if you don't mind coming forward, because everybody knows Chris Pate of United Way. Welcome. And I think you have something special here.
I do. It's good to be here with you all tonight. This is a wonderful time for our community to come together. I want to say briefly, because no matter where I go, I find people who don't know that your United Way is a separate 501c3 that belongs to LaPorte County. The money that's raised here stays here. So I always like to let people know that. Based on that, a couple of years ago, we invited Harry and the Nest to be a part of our annual allocation process because we were so proud and really thankful for the work that was going on there for our community. And so we have given them funding for the year, but we're going to provide an additional $5,000. And I have a real live check for you that I want to give you. Thank you. And I want to say before I step away that we also not only thank all these folks, but I wouldn't leave out our mayor, Tom Dermody, because when these guys were out trying to find people that needed to be in the shelter, he was out doing the same kind of thing. And I've never seen a mayor do that, so thank you, Tom.
Chris. It's a team effort. So when you think about a prosecutor, you think about someone moving forward with cases in the court system and so forth. But we received a call from our prosecutor, Sean Fagan, that works closely with Lisa Pierzakowski, and all he wanted to do is know how he can financially help. And our prosecutor, who loves to be in the public eye, I'm going to ask Sean Fagan to come forward. Sean, you have provided $2,000 to the Nest here in LaPorte, and we just want to say thank you to you. And you got to say something.
You know me all too well that I hate the spotlight, but we help, and Lisa can tell you more, but anything that my office can do to help better the community, more geared toward our role in public safety, but this has, all these, it's a circle and everything's connected. And anything that my office can do to help better the standard of life for people is good for me.
Thank you. And lastly, but not unexpected, because anytime we talk about good in our community, we said it earlier, the Health Foundation of LaPorte, Eric DeWald, the CEO, is here tonight. And what an amazing team we have with them. And Harry, I guess we're going to let Eric, because it took zero amount of time when we said we're in need, that Eric DeWald and the Health Foundation of LaPorte came through financially to really make the difference. And Eric, I'm sorry, I got to let you say it. You have a donation made to Nest LaPorte of
$20,000.
What do you have to say about that?
I want to thank you, Mayor Dermody, for calling me. I think it was last week or the week before, just to let me know what was going on. And thank you, Harry, and all of these wonderful people standing around that made this happen. This was truly needed, and I really appreciate the call and the heads up because I didn't know that that was going on. So I appreciate that. And the many other things that you do for us, Mayor Dermody. You've got your finger on the pulse. You're so involved, and you're down in the dirt with everybody else that's doing this work. So I really appreciate it. The Health Foundation of LaPorte is really grateful to be able to be providing this community with funding, and the collaborative partnership that we have on lots of initiatives. This is one, but there are many more. So we are really grateful.
We're counting on that.
Yes,
We
we
need
are.
more.
Hey, forget my phone number, though. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But thank you for that. And what we'd want to do is get a picture together. But before I do, and I'm probably in the doghouse,
We forgot somebody very important, because that person was at the depot every day with a broom and dustpan.
well, that's
and-
why I'm getting ready.
Okay, thank you. I just don't want to
So,
forget her.
because I was already warned not to bring it up, but we have somebody there that was probably 4 days straight, day, night, everywhere in between, that I was receiving calls from our department heads to say, hey, this person's going to freeze. You have to get her home. She can't stay here. Or getting a broom, sweeping, cleaning, going to the store, getting lunch, doing whatever she can. And she has a heart of gold. And we're so fortunate that we have somebody kind of that we always call the glue that holds everything together, Annette Leffler. And Annette, hopefully she's smiling, but she's got to be part of this picture. And Annette, I'm not sure if you wanted to say anything. All right, we're going to bring everybody around with the council, because the council being supportive of this, it's not always, Harry, as you know, the easiest thing to do in a community. But Lisa, you know as well, and I think our community, our council has trust in the both of you to make sure that this can happen. And Mr. Shy back there is coming up for the picture as well. So come on up and let's get together as a team. You've made a difference and you've changed lives. Come on, council members. Everybody center stage here. Harry and Lisa. Julie, why don't you get in front? Can we give them a round of applause? You're good looking there. We'll go opposite. The big guys will go opposite. First club?
Yeah, down a little bit in the front. You're good. Annette, we can't see you. All right, 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Absolutely, Mayor.
Thank you all. Let's give a round of applause. Yes, you don't have to stay for the remaining portion of the meeting.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Right now, we're going to go ahead and move to a item that's tabled to see if the council would like to untable.
I'll make a motion to untable the Business Improvement District Council appointments.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is untabled.
I'll make a motion to appoint 2-year terms for 5 appointments, 4 of which are existing appointments that will remain, and 1 new person. That's my motion.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Discussion of this person.
Yeah, she is here tonight, and Hannah, maybe if you can come up and introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Hannah, welcome.
Hi. Yeah, my name's Hannah Dunham. I am from LaPorte originally, graduated LaPorte High School in 2014. I left LaPorte for several years to go to college at IU and law school out at Arizona State, and I am back practicing in LaPorte now at House & House. I am setting some roots here, and I'm excited to be involved in the community and build a family here. So I would like to be involved, yeah.
Hannah,
I didn't
thank
even
you.
know the IU part. That's even better.
Hannah's a wonderful individual. We're fortunate to have you, and we're so glad you came back to LaPorte.
I am too, yeah.
So I do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Welcome, and thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, you
Yes,
don't
you
have to
can leave,
stay
yeah.
either if you don't want like. Two-year-old checks, clerk treasurer, Parthune.
This is really exciting after all of that excitement. So on an annual basis, the clerk treasurer's office presents the council checks that are issued to vendors by the city that are generally good for a 2-year period unless they're payroll related or payable to an individual. So at the end of each year, state statute requires the clerk treasurer's office to present a list of outstanding checks to the council. Our office, of course, attempts to contact vendors if invoices are still outstanding, and if so, we reissue the checks. I'm asking council to approve depositing the 2-year-old checks back into the fund in which it was originally paid, which I have listed on the sheet in front of you. And I'll also ask council to approve, which is new this year, approve sending payroll-related checks or checks payable to an individual to the Attorney General to post on Indiana's unclaimed property. Asking for a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Investment report to council, clerk treasurer, Parthune.
Also, on an annual basis, the state requires the clerk treasurer to present to the council an annual investment report, which is a conglomeration of all the fund reports with investments our office sends you on a monthly upon reconciliation. For 2024, the city of LaPorte earned $169,553.26 for seven different funds that are invested in the state's Hoosier Fund with Lake City Bank. As a reference, in 2023, the city earned $158,455.53 for the same 7 funds, an increase in 2024 of $11,097.73. The Hoosier Fund is a money market fund allowed by state statute specific for units of government per Indiana Code 36-1-7. Funds are pooled together to earn more interest, as advised by Baker Tilly. We earn interest daily and can access the funds if needed within 24 hours with no penalties. We have been investing in the Hoosier Fund for the past 10 or 11 years. The Hoosier Fund daily yield as of 1/30/2025 is 4.52%. Interest earned on the city's checking accounts for 2024 was $676,381.47 between 21 checking accounts. That we have to reconcile, by the way. 2023 was $508,970.89 between 19 checking accounts at local banks. This is an increase of $167,410.58 from 2023. I wanted to note, recently Matt Vesely from First Source Bank doubled all of the interest on our First Source Bank accounts. We're currently earning 3% on those. Interest earned on the Civic Trust accounts in 2024 was $12,358.53 from Horizon Bank's Private Wealth Management, which is a current yield of 2.94%. The Civic Board manages these funds. And then the RDA Sinking Reserve and Operating Funds earned $59,177.85, which is at BOK Financial, our bond trustee, and is a requirement of the RDA Series 2015 bonds. The current market yield for BOK Financial is 4.14%. No action is needed from the council. This is for informational purposes only.
Questions?
It's my life.
Council President Frankie.
Your Honor, I move to introduce the resolution, read it in its entirety for the first and only time.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Council President Frankie.
A resolution renewing City of LaPorte Enterprise Zone. Whereas City of LaPorte's Enterprise Zone has served as a vital element in the economic development of the City of LaPorte, providing inducements to expand, develop, invest, and create employment within the zone. And whereas the City of LaPorte's enterprise zone will, for the foreseeable future, continue to be a vital element in promotion, investment, development, and creating employment within the zone. And whereas Indiana Code 5-28-15-10 allows the fiscal body of a municipality to extend the enterprise zone for an additional 5-year period. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council, City of LaPorte as follows. Section 1, that the City of LaPorte enterprise zone is renewed and extended through and including February 3rd, 2030. End of resolution.
Attorney Otis.
Thank you. This is a requirement as specifically stated in the resolution to extend the urban enterprise zone. Just as a bit of background, I think in 2020 or 2021 that the council expanded the scope of the enterprise zone, and I'll ask Bert Cook to come up and speak to kind of the different things going on.
Mr. Cook, welcome.
Within the zone.
Yeah, good evening to the City Council. Bert Cook, Executive Director of the LaPorte Economic Advancement Partnership. I think the resolution is fairly clear, but just as a reminder, at one time there's about 14 enterprise zones across the state of Indiana. They were governed by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. They have since passed that governance down to the local elected body, in this case the City Council. And so you all are the ones that govern our enterprise zone. I think many of you are aware of all of the great things that the enterprise zone does in our community. For those that aren't as familiar, it's mostly centered on the center of our city, and when you see a lot of the facade improvement programs that have happened in our downtown, those have almost all been funded, at least in part, by the enterprise zone. I do think we have the strongest, if one of the strongest enterprise zones in the state. Those resources are put into good use in our community. And now that, as you have the governance of this, we will still follow the same process, and you'll see a similar resolution every 5 years if you choose to continue to extend the zone into the future, with the next one being 2030.
Questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other business, a couple of items. Thank you for your patience with the nest, but it was worth it. And we're saving lives, changing lives, and the snow or the cold is not over yet, but it will go through the end of March. Also, we've heard, from Sue Jesh about the police. And again, when you see property tax bills going through the state legislature right now, the governor has a bill, Senate Bill 1, that basically states property tax bills will go back to 2022 levels. And I think everybody here is supportive of further property tax caps or reductions, especially for seniors, veterans, and so forth. But everybody also expects the police and fire to continue to show when they are called. So they would go back to 2022 levels, and then every year would be a 2 or 3% cap. No further increases each year, but a 2 to 3% increase. So with that, just for example, in Senate Bill 1, the city of LaPorte would lose $1.1 million next year, $1.5 million the following year, and $1.8 million the year after that. The school system would lose quite a bit of money as well, and obviously we believe education is important in LaPorte. And then LaPorte County will also lose quite a bit of money, and this is statewide. It's not just the city of LaPorte or Michigan City or so forth. So we encourage people, our community, to be involved. If you want further tax reduction, people can say we have pencil pushers or extra this. You're welcome to come in our office with the requirements that are being made by the state, the work that people do with the pencil pushers, whether at the fire station, at the police department. or any of our other water, wastewater, anywhere else, and see the people work. Because where we make up with $1 million, again, I've said to the people in the state, just get rid of property taxes, because that's what the goal is, and give us the authority to do what's right at a local level. And we'll see what happens. There are several bills there, and it's something we'll all be watching closely as it moves through session. But please engage our state legislators. We have a LEAP function where all the legislators will be, or our regional legislators will be, this Friday at 8:15 a.m. at Purdue Northwest in Westville at which room?
Their main conference room.
Where they have the
Dworkin Center.
speakers, the Dworkin,
Center.
not where it used to be. Okay, at the Dworkin Center. So I'd encourage everybody to get involved. If you think there's waste, come look. We welcome our doors open. You can see our numbers everywhere, and it will be interesting as it continues. Any other comments?
I'd like to just mention a charity that I helped found about 10 years ago, had our 9th annual Inappropriate Trivia on Saturday. And it started with Ben Conowitz, myself, and Jimmy Pressel talking 10 years ago about how we found most charity work kind of boring, but wanted to give back to the community and decided to do something our own way, having fun with it. On Saturday, we had a record-breaking amount of money raised at $22,040, which we've never kept a dime of any money we've raised. We always give it back to a local charity. And this money's going to the Stepping Stone Shelter for Women. But it was a great event, and I'm proud of everyone that helped us.
Thank you to the three of you and everyone else. That's what community's all about. So thank you. And Tim Frank, if you didn't know, and like many of our people, whether they work here, they are elected, are involved in our school system, are involved in doing volunteer efforts, always helping. And that's what makes LaPorte what it is. So thank you. Other comments? Drew, I think you'll be attending the AIM dinner with all the mayors and the governor Wednesday.
That's the plan, yes.
So anything else?
Did they bring up anything about kicking up the, I'll get it. The tax going from 7 cents to 10 cents?
The
Okay. Yeah, the sales tax.
So I haven't heard sales tax. I think they have a lot on their plate with property tax. You may not want to.
Well, that's, I mean, if they want to get rid of our property tax. Listen, the first year I was a councilman, we were just getting out of that big mess from the county. We only got 60% of our money. Try that. We couldn't buy nothing.
Well, in the federal government, the president announced he would be, not announced, but said he'd be open to eliminating income tax on a national level. So if you, and then business personal property tax could be reduced as well. That's in a separate bill. So, I mean, it's going to require, it's an opportunity for all the governments, whether the county, the city, trustees and schools to come together and see, we can't continue at this pace. We have to look at reform and see what we can do if they're unwilling to give us the tools to be successful and make the tough decisions. Because one of the things I said to the governor's office, it's easy, and I did it with the property tax caps. That's the easy part, but also make the decisions of what you want local government to look like. And don't just leave after reducing property tax, because again, that's the easy part.
A motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Have a great evening, everyone.